Alright, so this next example will be a circle graph. Now your textbook really only gives you one question. I'm going to ask a couple extra ones, so they're not going to be stuff written in the book here. So a circle graph, or what we also commonly call a pie chart, is very good for comparing percentages, or comparing different amounts, different quantities that make up a larger quantity. Alright, and so in this example it says that the graph shows the percent of a household's annual income that they plan to budget for various expenses. Okay, well that's pretty good. If you just look at the chart itself, it says household budget for 1 year, and it has a bunch of slices out of this pie with percentages. So they're planning to spend 25% of their budget, of their annual income, on housing, and 13% on transportation maintenance, 5% on entertainment, and so forth, all the way around the list. Now this also says something that's not listed in the chart that we need the paragraph for is the total annual income. So they're saying, okay, so this household makes $45,000 a year. Then the question is, use the information in the graph to calculate how much money will be budgeted for each expense. So we have the percentages broken down out of 45,000, then we want the actual amounts. Now I'm not going to run through this with each one, even though in your textbook there's a table that does that, but I will show you with one of them. Let's do the food. It's in the green. It's kind of hard to read, I think, on this video, but it's 20% for food. Okay, so let's just look at that one and see how you would find that. So I'm going to cover that up for just a moment. It's interesting, you can still see the graph a little bit. So for that first one, let's look at food. Food was 20% of $45,000. Now remember, when we did percents earlier in this semester, there's a couple different things you can do, but you could set it up with a proportion. You could say 20 over 100, that's your percent over 100, equals the amount which we don't have divided by the base. The base is 45,000. The reason I know the base is 45,000 is because it follows the word of. And so then I can do my cross multiplying and dividing. So I get 100A for the amount equals 20 times 45,000. I gotta write this out. Actually, we could do this very simply. I'm going to just take 45 times 2. Remember, when we've done these larger numbers before, we've just ignored the zeros. Do 45 times 2. That's going to be 90. And then you tack on all the zeros. So you get 1 0 from the 20 and 3 more from the 45,000. Okay? And what that ends up with is 900,000. And then when I divide out by the 100, remember, dividing by a power of 10 can be done quickly just by canceling off zeros at the end. It's essentially dividing the top and bottom by 100 and reducing the fraction. And what you'll end up with is 9,000, so that A is equal to 9 with 3 zeros, or $9,000. Right? So that's what they'd be spending on food in the year, $9,000. Okay. Okay. Now, just looking at this chart, if I asked you something like, what is the budget item that accounts for the most money, you would answer housing. It's got the largest slice, right? What is a budget item that accounts for the least amount of money? Well, there's a tie there between taxes and entertainment, right? So those, you can get a feel for just from the size of the slices. If you wanted to, what percent of the budget goes toward taxes, food, and housing together. Well, if you look at taxes, food, and housing, they add up to 50%. It's exactly half of the circle, right? And you could add the percentages together too. 25, 20, and 5 makes 50. And so there's just some ways that you can, read this graph and different types of information you can pull from it.